Into the news hour as we head into more of the business stories. The Uganda Association of External Recruitment Agencies spokesperson Ronnie Mukundane has expressed concern over the allegations that government will take over money on dormant accounts, saying that their money is safe. However, the Finance Minister, Honorable Mathieu Kasaija, and Bank of Uganda refuted the allegations, saying that the government has got no intention to actually get the money on the dormant accounts. He made the remarks during an interview with Smart 24 TV. More of this report.
The Ministry of Finance, Planning and Economic Development, jointly with Bank of Uganda, just of recent assured Ugandans that the government has no intention of taking over or taxing people's money on the dormant accounts. The Deputy Governor, Bank of Uganda, Dr. Michael Atinji Igo, as well as said the money in dormant accounts is safe and accessible when the right owner shows up and makes a claim for it.
But convey to the people who have been misleading society that the government wanted to steal their money. How can I steal people's money? I am the one advocating every day, become rich. How can I? I will be shooting my own foot.
Bank of Uganda cannot do anything that is inconsistent with the laws of Bank of Uganda. But just to emphasize what the minister said, that we are committed as Bank of Uganda to deliver on our statutory functions and mandate of fostering price stability and a sound financial system.
The spokesperson of the Uganda Association of External Recruitment Agencies, Ronnie Mukundane, has as well called all Ugandans in diaspora to stay calm, saying that their money on their accounts is safe.
From what we read from Bank of Uganda, because they are the ones who are going to put this law into act, they seem to say everything is okay. They say the money will be safe and it can be claimed even when someone has died. The next of kin, as per what the registration or opening of the account entails, they can be able to access that money.
The current law has caused the Ugandan working community in diaspora a state of panic since the list of the contracts issued to them to sign runs for 2-year period, which automatically makes the account go in a state of dormancy. The law also stated that money kept on mobile money and Airtel accounts is regarded dormant for a space of 15 months after declaring the account dormant. It's taken over by the Bank of Uganda for a space of 7 years.
When you look at, say, mobile money, the mobile money account explains what the mobile money account is. That differs from the number, the telephone number. And it goes ahead to say that it becomes dormant after 15 months. We still know that 15 months is still not time enough for our side, because our candidates go and work for 2 years, our Ugandans. So, of course, they would come and find it dormant.
Kundani says between a period of 7 years, there is no room for the Ugandans to come back and claim for that money, with identification being the major necessity. However, he also goes ahead to state the challenge about the mobile money and Airtel money accounts is that some Ugandans don't have their accounts registered in their name, posing a threat when the individual is claiming, which would imply that the names in which the number was registered should be the individual to claim, not the person holding the account.
Account in particular and taken to Bank of Uganda and it's there until 7 years. So there is a room to claim for the money within a period of 7 years. And he also goes ahead to state what is required. It's purely identification that is required once the person returns. So to us, we feel, because we are worried, but we feel maybe going forward, it should be something that can be worked on. Maybe the challenge would be that we know most of our people, or most of Ugandans, tend to have mobile money, like they receive on their phones, but when they are registered in other people's names. And I think that's a challenge. It's already a lapse on the registration, but of course when that person, if it so happens that, for example, you have a relative who has traveled, and he or she was using mobile money in your names, the need has to be you to come, and that's what, we to go and claim,
That, however, he says the money is safe even in the situation when a person in charge of the account dies. He says the next of kin can claim for the money following the right and required procedures.
Now, the bigger claim in Uganda's mobile money situation is the fact that most people are having mobile money accounts that are not registered in their names, that it becomes difficult. If at all you are the owner of the SIM card, I would say, and the owner of the account, but it's not registered in your names, it becomes difficult for you to go and actually see that you cry foul for your money. that has actually been blocked onto their account. And according to the spokesperson of Luwera, you as the person, it's actually the person who has registered, it's actually the person in whose names the account is registered who is supposed to go and seek for that money. And if you're looking into the situation, Mukundane says between a period of 7 years, there is room for the Ugandans to come back and claim for that money, with identification being the major necessity. And in the same situation, if we have been following up on the issue of mobile money, we did mention that in a period of 9 consecutive months, if you are a mobile money user and you're having an account that does not receive money, that does not transact, deposit, withdraw money, it is deemed redundant. And in a period of 9 consecutive months, if the telecommunication company is actually following up on the activities of your mobile money account and you don't withdraw, you don't deposit, you don't do any transaction whatsoever, and maybe you have some money on your account but you've just kept it there, and in the period of 9 months and you've done literally nothing in terms of transactions, it is actually going to be deemed redundant. And in that particular aspect, they would be sending you notifications prior to the 9 months. So by the time it reaches 9 month period, they will actually block it or actually deem it redundant. It becomes dormant automatically. And in that period, you're going to be following up on the incident. And most of the cases that are there, the people who have actually died and had a number of that actually had a huge amounts of money on their mobile money accounts. We also have some people who've gone abroad, who have actually traveled abroad for maybe 1 to 3 years of studies, and they have left some money onto their accounts, and their accounts have remained dormant. And in that period of 7 years, according to the National Payment Systems Act, that is actually also regulating mobile money usage in Uganda, says that in that period of 7 years, it is to help the people out there, it is actually to help the Ugandans to follow up on their mobile money accounts and later on actually get their money that has actually been trapped onto this mobile money account. Now, the current law has caused the Ugandans working the Ugandans that are working in the diaspora or those working abroad in a state of panic, since the list of the contracts issued to them to sign runs for maybe a 2 to 3 year period, which automatically makes the account go in a state of dormancy. And that is why you would see that most of the Ugandans that are abroad are claiming that by the time they leave the country, most of them maybe send the money here, and by the time they leave the country and return, their accounts are deemed redundant or dormant, which makes it difficult for them to go back. Because like I did mention as I was quickly heading into the assessment, that most of the people have accounts, and I for one would definitely say I even have some of my mobile money. I did have my issues with National Registration Authority, like my NIRA, because I don't have my national ID as of now, with the endless efforts I've actually been carrying on to even pay different sums of money. But if you do follow up on the same incident, you would see that with NIRA, that if you don't have a national identification, you cannot register your SIM card. That is why you would see that most of them are actually having issues with registering the SIM cards with their identification cards and using other people's identification cards. And so let's head into the next one now. On September 8th in Masaka, the Masaka Chief Magistrates Court charged the 2 MPs, that is Makindye West MP Alan Sawanyana and Kawempe North MP Muhammad Sejirinya, a murder case before remanding them to Chigo prison. They later applied for bail and court granted them, but did not leave prison because it was too late for their lawyers to pay 40 million bail fees and complete the required paperwork. However, the MPs were arrested as they left Chigo prison, where they had spent more than 2 weeks after they had been remanded. Uganda People's Defense Forces spokesperson Brigadier Flavia Biekwaso last evening said that the operation was enforced by joint security forces on allegations of new charges against the opposition National Unit Platform legislators. This therefore forced the opposition members of parliament, led by the leader of opposition, marching out of the session after the Attorney General remarks that MPs can be detained as many times as possible. The Speaker of Parliament dismissed the plenary session due to demonstration over the re-arrest. Let's take a look at this.
Speaker and honorable colleagues, I want to state that it is true. The Honorable Sewanyana and the Honorable Sejirinya were rearrested. One was rearrested the other day and another one yesterday. Honorable Speaker, it is also true that the Honorable Sewanyana yesterday had a statement and was interrogated at Kireka CID in the presence of his lawyers. Today, the Honorable Sejirinya is also going to be interrogated by CID in the presence of his lawyers. Honorable Speaker, I know that you are supposed to be notified, and this information for you is coming. Honorable colleagues, I beg to submit.
Honorable Speaker. Honorable Speaker, these are the kind of situations as leaders of our people we try to avoid. When I saw the Right Honorable Prime Minister come here, I had a warmth in my heart that finally mother is around to speak to the country. I was disappointed, of course. She is excusable. Surely she did not know what was obtaining. Honorable Speaker, the Attorney General and his statement is most disturbing. I'm only learning here that the Attorney General has a new constitution to which we are not privy, and therefore we can circumvent the position of the law and submit that, they will be produced. We have the 48-hour rule, Honorable Speaker. Honorable Speaker, I heard you clearly, and you're right. When somebody makes a wrong, you do not join them to commit another wrong. That should be the limit. And between citizens and an eternal criminal state, the Parliament is the firewall. And on my side, Honorable Speaker, I am constrained. I am a very good listener, very patient. He is the head of government business. She had nothing to do with the house other than lamentation. The Land Attorney General, a senior at the bar, is being legally scandalous, Honorable Speaker.
And it's part of the right of any member of this House, and we have some order. It's part of the right of any member of this House to signify dissent in a decent way. I don't approve the idea of changing the dress code of this House. But I'm in no total, I'm not in any disagreement with the act of walking out. I have no problem with that. It's part of the expression of dissent that is permitted. That if you are not very happy with the situation, you can walk out. Because the option would be to stay and become problematic. So I applaud the leader of the opposition for his leadership, that he has led this team out of the chambers of this House without any drama, with the exception of the change of the dress code of this House. I applaud him for that, and that's good leadership. Because if they had resorted to any other thing, probably it wouldn't have been that good. And also applaud you for staying calm even when things begin to get rather heated. That should be the spirit in which we handle this business. If you disagree with the processes, you can walk out. That's acceptable. But the cause of the dissent must be put on record. Honorable members, it's problematic. When each time we find ourselves in these situations, it disturbs even the presiding officers. There are things that should be avoided.
The Constitution is here, and all the supporting laws made under that Constitution are clear about processes and procedures. Why flout them? Just why flout them? What is the emergency? Why flout them? Because when you do, we end up like this. And you give people with bad intent an excuse to do the things they have been longing to do. Can we just do things right? Today I was talking to some group of people, and I told them the biggest problem that we have in this country is technical people stepping down directives from top officials of government. When they say do this, instead of assessing what can be done within the law, they just rush and do it. When the president says no border borders on pavement, in the evening they deploy police to start beating border borders on the pavement. And yet what the president has stated is a policy direction, which must be stepped down by the policy people. What is the import of the president's statement that there should be no border borders on the pavement? It simply means create another lane for border borders. This process should not be done by evening, so that you clear the pavement. But in the evening we deploy police, we start beating border borders.
Allow me to say thank you, Right Honorable Speaker. I want to inform you that we have seen what has happened, and we are, as leader of government business, going to have all those MDAs come together, and we look for a way forward. Thank you so much, Right Honorable Speaker.
I can certainly this. In the circumstances, Honorable Speaker, I would like to join you in not joining illegality. The biggest statement that a criminal state must receive today, that this should not happen again, and in the circumstances, I am constrained to continue leading my team, Honorable Speaker, because you are mimicking the truth from the front bench. Honorable Speaker, I am afraid I'm out of this. I'll lead off this side, because the head of government business has no business communicating my side. The rights of the citizen are being abused. The applicant believes that it's at his discretion to say they'll appear. A member was complaining, he's sick, he's ill. The parents believe that his life is in the future. He will be taken to hospital or wherever at some stage. Madam Speaker, I submit, I am constrained, I have no choice but to withdraw my team from this vulgar debate.
Every Ugandan viewing me, wherever there is such an occurrence in Parliament, it means the Parliament of Uganda has lost a lot of money, because government of Uganda, it takes government of Uganda a lot of money to sustain a member of Parliament a day. So thousands of money. If they don't do work which is mandated to them, a lot of money is lost. Therefore, every Ugandan should be very, very, very careful. And that calls for Ugandans, when voting, you must vote the right thinking member of Parliament. Of course, it's your right to express to express your dissatisfaction like they did. They are free to walk out of Parliament. But when walking out, you must walk out decently. You should walk out decently and don't antagonize the business of Parliament. For at least the Speaker also recommended them for walking out, but when they got out, they dressed up and started doing their drama. That is evident. If a constituent voted the dramatist, that at that hour, that is when he comes out in his or her true colors to show what he is or what he is. Therefore, Ugandans have lost a lot of money today, but let's hope for the better, and I request my colleagues to sober up because this matter can be handled maturely as gentlemen.
First and foremost, these are matters of humanity. Some of us wouldn't care about the losses that has been made today. If government had thought about that, they wouldn't have rearrested our leaders, because the two members are part of the Parliament of Uganda. They are expected to represent their people. They were bailed out by the High Court. They were forced to pay 20 million each, and upon their release, then some security forces also rearrested them. So someone might put this matter into issues of economics on how much Parliament has lost today. But to some of us, the defenders of the Constitution, defenders of human rights, wouldn't mind. So our critical moment today is one. We need all security agencies now to understand one thing, that when they are arms of the government, let them be respected. This is the judiciary. Court bailed out these members in broad daylight. They paid their money, and it is their right to apply for bail, which was granted. So to us, from today onwards, we need to respect government institutions. When I heard the Prime Minister talking about what is happening to our two members, I felt so sad. When the Attorney General intervened also, what he was saying that these members can be brought to court as many times as possible, we had to put him to order. So to us, whether the Parliament has lost billions and billions of money, we all believe and know that this government has cost us a lot. We have lost a lot of sums of money, so we don't care as long as our honorable members are out. And we shall not convene any plenary sitting until when our honorable members. We all believe that in this multi-party dispensation, government has two sides. There's the government side and the opposition side. We are, as for opposition, we have the leader of opposition. And I don't believe that this parliament can sit as long as the leader of opposition and the comrades are not in the house. And actually that's why today, after us getting out, we have witnessed the speaker saying that he cannot preside over a meeting where there is only one side. So let each and everyone come out, let the speaker come out, let the chief government whip come out, let the prime minister come out to make sure that our honorable members are out of prison.
but we know we handle it in the circumstances because the fire is here, and then they should react. Then we see what to do next. We shall be here tomorrow.
No, but we should do it better. Please don't bring the teachers in.
No.
This is enough. Demonstration.
No. It spoils the sanctity of that place. If you have
the desecration, what happened?
If you desecrate, what you should do when situations are like, you can walk out like I actually applauded him.
Oh, yeah.
When you I say it's a better way to do things. Then you come and dress up here and address the press.
Now the MPs in this story is MP Alan Sewanyana and Muhammad Sejirinya, who were remanded back to Chigo prison. Now, if you are to look at the situation after the court had actually granted them bail of 20 million Uganda shillings each, which is 40 million to a total. Now, what the MPs are actually crying out to the government is, why is it unfair that the High Court had bailed them out with the money that they actually paid, but they are still in prison? And that is a story that is still developing, and we'll definitely be giving you more of the details in regards to that. That brings us to the end of our news hour. We are heading into sports business shortly after the break.